Let's have Adeke Faith. Adeke, you can pray. Adeke, please, and let me just ask to unmute. Okay, you can unmute.
Let's humble ourselves and we pray. Loving King of Glory, thank you for this day. Thank you for the gift of life and salvation. As we're going for this Kiswahili lesson, we pray that we'll understand everything and that you'll go ahead of us. Let's also pray for a good network connection. In Jesus' name I've prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you about the good for praying about the
You're
good
welcome.
network connection. For sure, the network is really bad. So, class, maybe let's quickly remind ourselves what we did last week. Yes, to Rabo Hope. Okay, Hope, you can unmute.
Last week we learned about questions viluizi in Kiswahili, and we learned that kwa nini is why. We also learned that wapi is where, gani is which, nani is who, and so on.
Asante sana Faith, makofi kwako. So last week tulisoma viulizi, and we saw that viulizi are questions. And as Faith had said, nani is who. There are so many different things that we did. And our teacher last week was Teacher Crown. Thank you so much, Teacher Crown, for taking us through last week's lesson. I know you still have something to present about uafikishaji, but let's see what, if time allows us today, we can have it towards the end of the lesson. But otherwise, asante sana kwa kutufundisha wiki uliopita. So leo tunaangalia funzo ingine. Leo tunaangalia nyakati. Let me just share my screen. Class, can you see my screen? Okay, I think right now we can all see my screen. Please ensure that in case you're not seeing anything or you want to ask something, you put your hand up so that you're not left behind. Okay, so I want someone. Okay, today we are looking at something new. Maybe just to quickly talk about it. We had looked at it before people went home. We looked at nyakati or wakati, and in Kiswahili, tenses in Kiswahili are called wakati, and a tense is called nyakati. So that's what we are going to quickly look at today. I know we have ideas about what they are because we looked at them and you have them in your books, we are just going to discuss a little more into nyakati, how we use different tenses, how they are written, and so on, so that you're able to construct a sentence in Kiswahili without breaking the tense. Ama unaweza tunga sentensi bila kuvunja nyakati. Na natumai tutaelewa, or I believe we are all going to understand. So I want someone to, okay, just like, maybe let me just give a brief back. Just like in English, we have tenses, like we have the past tense, past participle, we have the present tense, we have the present simple, we have the future tense, It's the same thing in Kiswahili. And remember that when you don't construct a sentence well in English, if the sentence is not it's not grammatically right, it is a wrong. Even if it's only one word or one letter, it makes the whole sentence and grammatically it makes the whole sentence ungrammatical. So it's the same thing when it comes to Kiswahili. So I want someone to read for us what they can see. I can see Hope's hand up. Okay, Hope, you can unmute.
What I see now on the screen.
Yes, on the screen.
Okay, Kiswahili, nyakati into brackets tenses, that is in singular form, and wakati into brackets tenses in plural form.
Okay, asante sana Hope, makofi kwako. So we have nyakati is a tense. Then wakati, tenses. Okay, so let's move to our next slide. We are going to start with wakati, nyakati uliopita, or wakati uliopita, and we use na. We use na, as you can see, there is a na, and when you look at the na, there is an hyphen. There is an hyphen in front and an hyphen behind. It means that there are some words that can be added. There are some words that can be added to the na, or there are some words that are supposed to be added to the na. So wakati uliopita simply means, you can write it in your books. The reason why I didn't put the translations is because I want you to keep writing in the lessons. So wakati uliopita is the past tense. It's the past tense. Let me see. Okay, wakati uliopita. Okay, sorry, this is wakati uliopo. Wakati uliopo, and wakati uliopo is the present tense. If that particular thing is just happening at that particular time, or kitu inafanyika saa hiyo. So wakati uliopo. Sorry about not uliopita, but uliopo, and we use na to give to give a word or a verb that particular thing is happening. So we have examples. Somebody to can see on that inside that table. Let me see. Let me have Marjorie. Marjorie, you can unmute.
Teacher, yes. Kukubali is ninapika, I am cooking. Wanapika, they are cooking. Anapika, he or she is cooking. Tunapika, we are cooking. Unapika, you are cooking, singular, in brackets singular. Ninapika, you are cooking, in brackets plural. So can I read the next box?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Kukata, sipiki, I am not cooking. Hawapiki, they are not cooking. Hapiki, he or she is not cooking. Hutupiki, teacher, I can see the other parts. Yeah, that's enough. Hatupiki, we are not cooking. Hupiki, you are not cooking. Hampiki, you are not cooking.
Okay, thank you so much, Marjorie. Let me I think you can, I have tried to zoom in a bit. I hope you can see the screen now at least well than the first time. So, but you can also zoom in using your phone, or if you're using a laptop, you can still zoom. So we have wakati uliopo. Let me just go up. Yes, that is how it's written. Nyakati uliopo. And as I said at the beginning, that nyakati uliopo is that present tense, or that particular time, or that thing is happening at that time. Like right now, what we are doing is nyakati uliopo, because we are actually studying. So you can say ninasoma. It means that you are studying. So when you say kukubali, Kukubali is it's positive or affirmative. An affirmative, affirmative is when you're in agreement with your agreement with something. So ninapika is I am cooking. So with the I is ni. You use ni when you're talking about yourself. That's what I want us to understand. You me is I. So you say ninapika. I am cooking. Ninasoma. I am reading. Then wanapika is simply the plural of ni. So I is actually it's supposed to be we, but we're also going to look at that. But here we are looking at they. When you say maybe wanafunzi wanapika, the students are cooking. So you see wanapika is plural, and we are saying that wana is they are cooking. Then we have anapika, he or she is cooking. Like if you're talking about your mother, you say mama anapika. You see mother is cooking. So it's he or she is cooking. So this one can be used when it comes to either a boy or a girl. And then we have tunapika. And tunapika is we are cooking. And then, so when you're talking about we, you say tu. Tunasoma, we are studying or we are reading. And then we have unapika, you are cooking, and this is in singular. I've even written there that it's singular. So una, when you're talking about another person, you can even tell your sister unapika, that is like you are cooking. So you can even go with the u. You see the u has the u, and then the unapika has the u, for you to understand better. And then we have munapika is you are cooking, but when you're talking to many people or when we're referring to many people, you can even tell somebody munapika, like you are cooking, or nyinyi munapika. You see, you're talking about many people and you use mna. There's no I, it's just mnapika. Plus, I told you that the sweetness with Kiswahili is you write words the way you something else. So an interruption. I hope you can still hear me. Hope you can still hear me. Sorry about that. And then we have kukata is negative. At times in Kiswahili, kukata is also called kukanusha. Kukanusha. Let me just put it. Kukanusha, like that. At times it's called kukanusha, and this is negative. So the other side, the English side, you put negative. So when you say sipiki, is I am not cooking. Sipiki, I'm not cooking. Sisomi, you can put any other verb. Sisomi, siendi, silali, maybe sifagi, all those verbs, you can actually put the verbs and just choose si. It means I am not doing that particular thing. And then hawapiki is they are not cooking. So class, don't get worried about the things. I know that you will get used to them with time. For now, you should not get worried that teacher is teaching very hard things. I know that's what some of you, of course, are saying, but you're going to understand them because it's a new language, and I know you're going to pick up. And then we have hapiki is he or she is not cooking. Hatupiki, we are not cooking. You can even say hatusomi, we are not reading. Hatulali, we are not sleeping. So there are so many verbs that you can add. And then hupiki, you are not cooking. Hampiki, you are not, you are not cooking, but hahupiki is you are not cooking, but singular. Take note, this is singular. And then hampiki is you are not cooking, but plural. Hampiki is you're not cooking, but in plural. Hamsomi, you're meaning it's a group of people. I can see hands. So for now, class, that is what we have with Nyakati. uliopo. And we use na. So I can see hands. I don't know whether there are questions. Please, if you're not asking a question, you will lower your hand unless you're asking a question before I go to the next slide. If you're not asking a question, please lower your hand. Yes, Chirabo.
Teacher, I had a question. How come in the positive side, like unapika, the na is there, and then in the negative side, it's not there? The tense now.
So when you look at the positive, actually when we look at the others, you realize that with the negative side, we are going to maintain almost the same format. So it is just the rules of the language. So
Yes.
it's always in the positive side that you will see the na, the me, the li. But when you go to kukanusha, it's different. So you just have to understand it like that. Okay, let me have Crown.
Yes, teacher, I had another question. Why? Excuse me, I had another question. Teacher,
please mute.
Just asking, why does the teacher, I had a question.
Yes.
Why does the pika change to picky?
Okay. Why it changes? You cannot say sipika. You have to say sipiki. So when that is how you write it when you're refusing to do that particular thing. That is how it changes. And if you realize it's not only kupika, you have sipiki, hawapiki, hapiki, hatupiki, hupiki. You see, you realize that that's how it changes. Like for example, even if you have the word like lala would also be the same thing. Silali, sikuli, sifagi. You see, you have the e to show that you're actually refusing that particular thing, or you're not going to do whatever they're telling you to do. So that is how Kiswahili is.
Okay.
Like for example, if you have a word like maybe kusoma, you will say sisomi, hatusomi, hamsomi, hasomi, all those things. So there's a way that ye keeps repeating to actually show that you're not doing that particular thing. Okay, let me have another person. Please, you can okay, Crown.
Okay, teacher. In most of the verbs in Kiswahili, I had written them down somewhere. I see that most of them end with A. Does that mean that last day you change it to I when writing negative form?
Yes, let me just say that. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's a bit of
Then,
grammar work, but you can change the A into the K.
okay, then there are some verbs like bunji, which means to break. Okay, that one ends with K. What do you do? What do you do to me? Change it to
Okay, Crown.
Yes, teacher.
Crown. So with vunji is vunja. The verb is vunja, and then the negative is sivunji, sivunji, hawavunji. You get?
Okay.
So it's the vunja that is the verb when you're actually it's a positive one or it's an affirmative one. Kubali.
Thank
I
you
hope
so
that's
much.
clear.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Let me have Marjorie.
Teacher, could you please repeat what you talked about? Yes, teacher, I'm saying that. Could you please repeat what you talked about, the part of hatupiki and hampiki? I didn't really get it. You say something about singular and plural. Okay, went off. I didn't get it.
Okay. So when you look at hatupiki, is we are not cooking. It's like we are not cooking. You can even like use the word like reading. Hatusomi, we are not reading. So then when you go to hupiki is you are not cooking, but this is singular. Then hampiki is you are not cooking, but it is plural. The the M here shows that the people you're talking to are many. Because when you go to even when you go to the positive side or the affirmative side, mnapika, if you see there is the mna to show that you're not talking to only one person, that might be more than one. It might be more than one person. Hope that's clear. I don't know whether all those are questions. Let me go to Tendo. Tendo, unmute. Tendo, I have unmuted you. Please unmute from your side. Tendo, we are not hearing. Okay, as Tendo is preparing, let me have Gladys Nachigude.
Yeah. As teacher, like on the negative side, like if I want to say
Teacher?
I am not reading.
Okay, yes, Gladys.
Teacher, I was asking that, like on the negative side, if I want to say I am not reading, is it sinasomi?
Sisomi. Because you have
You
already
don't
like
put that.
soma, you don't put the
Yes,
na.
teacher.
Okay, I hope
Okay,
that's
teacher.
clear. You don't put the na. Okay.
Yes,
Let me
teacher.
have
Thank you.
I think Tendo has lowered her hand. Tendo, where are you? Tendo, you had a question. Okay, yes, Nakato.
Teacher, what's the meaning of kukanus? Kukasu. That word after kukata.
Kukanusha. It is like negating, eh? It's like negation. You're not, it's like, okay, let me just say it's like negative. Kukata is negative. Kukata is negative, and you can use kukanusha, which is also negative. Let me have Queen.
Teacher,
Queen.
I'm asking. Ni, you said ni is referring to yourself, and also I checked in the book, and ni is also like is. So is ni referring to yourself, and both is?
Okay, Queen, thank you. So, asante. So when you look at ni is, when it is only the ni. But here, ni na, it means you are. Ni na is I am. So this one is in a this one is in a word. It's in a word. Unlike when you say, unlike when you say mama yangu. I don't know whether, can you still get me, class? Somebody has interrupted. So unlike when you say mama yangu ni daktari, meaning my mother is a doctor. You see, the ni is alone. It's like a word on its own. Unlike when you say ni napika, that is a full word. It's a joined word. I hope that is clear, Queen. I had seen Tendo, you please. I don't know what you wanted to ask. We were not hearing. Okay, yes, Lina. Lina, you can unmute. So I don't know, class, can you still hear me? I hope you can hear me. Sorry, somebody had interrupted with a call. And so, you know, when somebody calls and you're hotspotting, the phone goes off. So let me have, okay, Tendo. Tendo, you can unmute.
Teacher, I wanted to ask about that, how the R changes to E at the end, and it was answered. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Asante sana Tendo. So I think, let me first see if there's any other hand. So class, I hope we are all comfortable with using wakati uliopo or the present tense. I hope you are all comfortable and you can fully construct a sentence with wakati uliopo. Okay, let me move to the next slide. Please, if you have a question, this one I can actually I would prefer teaching like 2 or 3 slides and make sure that everyone has understood, and maybe teach the other tenses some other time, because I really want us to understand this very well. Okay, let me move to the next slide. Okay, let me just go up. Okay, so we are here. So there's somebody that asked about something like the is. So this is where we are coming. So we have still a continuation to do with Ngelia. Sorry, not Ngeli class. It's still continuation to do with the na, or the tense na, or nyakati na. So in affirmative, one can say unaenda, unaenda, inaenda, linaenda. Okay, so I know I'm a bit fast. Let me just go slow. So somebody can say unaenda, and that particular thing means it's going. Inaenda, it is going. Linaenda, it is going. Yanaenda, it is going. Kinaenda, it is going. Vinaenda, it is going. Zinaenda, it's going. Just pay attention. I'm going to explain after, so you don't need to worry. So unaenda, it is going. Inaenda, it's not going. Linaenda, it's not it's going, sorry. Yanaenda, it's going. Kinaenda, it's going. Vinaenda, it's going. Zinaenda, it's going. So when you look at the negative side, now you see where the I, the ndi. When you look at we see the hawendi, haiendi, haliendi, yaliendi, hakiendi, haviendi, haziendi. It means it's not going. So this side you can just feel with it's not going, it's not going, it's not going. So we are saying that there are other things that you can talk about, things that do not have like, okay, things that are not human beings. Let me say things that are not human beings. Like you can talk about a dog, you can talk about an insect, you can talk about a car, you can talk about a motorcycle, you can talk about a motorbike, you call it it. So, but now you have the unaenda, inaenda, linaenda, yanaenda, kinaenda, vinaenda, na zinaenda. So class, this is where ngeli comes in. This is where ngeli comes in. So for example, you remember we looked at that, we've looked at so far ngeli ya awa, ngeli ya lia, we've seen ngeli ya awa, ngeli ya lia, and then ngeli ya ui or me. So this is where you apply the ngelis. Like for example, let me say ngeli ya lia. Ngeli ya lia, we have linaenda and yanaenda. You can say, let me take a word that is under ngeli ya lia. We have gari. Gari is under ngeli ya lia. You can say gari linaenda. Gari linaenda. Then when that is in singular, but when you go to plural, you will say magari yanaenda. Magari yanaenda. So I hope to see where the lia is coming from. We have linaenda, and then yanaenda, which is li, ya. I hope that is clear. Let me also use another word under ngeli ya liya. We have like gino, which is like the tooth. You have the tooth and the teeth. So you can say jino linauma. Jino linauma. So jino is singular. It means like the tooth. And then other teeth will be meno. Meno is the teeth. Meno yanauma. Meno yanauma. The other side, if you want to say it in negative, you can say meno haliumi. Meno haliumi. I hope that's clear. Something that I want us to actually understand and know that when you're talking about the it's going, you're talking about things that are not human beings. When you look at the first now that we looked at, that slide, this one is when you're talking about human beings. Now you can see you are cooking. You is a person. We is people. He or she is a person. But when you look at this, it talks about things that are not human beings. It can be the hand, it can be the nails, it can be maybe your leg, it can be maybe your television, it can be maybe a photograph and all that. But the most important thing is for us to understand which word falls under which ngeli, and which you should not get worried because we are looking at ngeli per ngeli. For now, you should make sure that at least you know some of the words that fall under ngeli awa. You know, some of the words that fall under ngeli ui or mmi, and then we also know some of the words that fall under ngeli liya. Okay, for now, let me stop there and see whether I have some hands up. Okay, let me start with Crown.
Okay, teacher. You say we should keep in mind the words from earlier hour, but among these affirmative words, which one is from earlier hour? Because the first one, I think it's for a different ngeli.
No.
Not the second slide. I mean, in the third slide.
In the first slide.
So I said the third slide.
The first one.
The third one.
The third one. Okay. So when you look at the third one, it is the third one is you look at the third one, we are saying that this one, the words fall under different ngelis so far. So we have so what is your question?
Can you tell me can you tell us which ngeli these words are for? Like, you tell us the first one, then you tell us which ngeli it stands for. Like, you already told us for the third and fourth one.
Okay, so the first one, we have the naenda, inaenda. That one is ngeli ya ui.
Yeah.
Then we have the li naenda and yanaenda. That is ngeli ya li ya.
Yes.
And then we have kinaenda and vinaenda. That is ngeli ya kivi. Though we've not yet looked at ngeli ya kivi. And then we have the zinaenda. It's just ngeli ya z.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
Is answered. And then let's look at let me see, I can see some more hands. Let me see Petra.
I was asking, are all these ways of saying going? Because I'm saying unaenda, inaenda, alienda, yanaenda. Are they all ways of saying like going?
So Petra, when you look at enda is go. You see, enda is go. So you can play around with the word enda to mean I am going. If you are saying I am going, Petra, you will say Nina enda.
Teacher, can you also, are there other words you can play around like this one?
Yes, you can even say soma.
Oh, okay.
But now with soma, you'll have to use it with a human being because you cannot get a car reading. You get? Yes, so you choose, like, maybe if you're meaning a car, you can say gari linaenda. Gari linaenda, magari yanaenda. Then you look for another word that maybe falls under ngeli ya ui, but something that can move. You get? So there are so many. You can just, okay, it depends on the word that you want to use, or the noun that you want to, the one noun you want to use. So you choose the noun that you want to use, and then play around with different words that suit that particular noun. Like now, for example, in English, I cannot say maybe the cup is going. People, we know that the cup is not going unless it's maybe poetry, because with poetry, you can give a cup, maybe human characters. But you cannot say a cup is going, because we know that a cup is a non-living thing and it cannot go anywhere. So you play around with the words. Okay, let me have a Juna.
Like the different Sinhalese and their translation in English, because I can actually understand what you talk about. Like Ngeli ya awa, I don't understand it in English.
So Vicky, what you mean is you didn't understand the different Ngelis. Vicky? Vicky, you mean, okay, Vicky, please unmute and ask your question. Well, I didn't get you quite well.
Yes, teacher, that's what I meant.
Okay. Okay, so Vicky, when you look at, maybe let me just go back a bit, just a bit, because when you look at Ngelia hour, we looked at Ngelia hour before even people went home. We said that in Ngelia hour, it majorly focuses on people, which are human beings, ama watu. We had insects or dudu, and then we have wanyama, animals. That is what Ngelia hour does. When you look at Ngelia ui, it focuses on things like, okay, things that do not have, okay, things that are not human beings. They cannot be animals and they cannot be insects. Like, for example, under Ngelia ui, we have something like mti. Mti is M-T-I, but in plural, it is miti, M-I-T-I, that's miti. So that is what Ngelia ui does. The words that you look at will have a u somewhere, like maybe you can say mti unapandwa, and then that is in singular, mti inapandwa, or the tree is being planted. And then in plural, it will become miti, M-I-T-I, miti inapandwa, or the trees are being planted. So that is how the Ngelia ui, the Ngelia ui does. You have them in your book because this is something that we did with that, but with Ngelia ui, I know we did it online. And then we have the Ngelia lia, which we did, I think, the other week. With Ngelia lia, you have words that have li and words that have ya in plural, li in singular and ya in plural. Like, for example, let me use the same example that I had used. We have gari, which is a car. Gari inaenda. Sorry, gari linaenda. That is, the car is going. Then when you look at the plural, it will become magari yanaenda, or magari yanaenda. That is the plural. So that is how the Ngeli does. Vicky, I hope that is clear. Maybe let me have another hand. Okay, Marjorie.
I wanted to ask that when I want to say that, let's say a student is going to school, should I say that mwanafunzi okay, like is going to school. Can I say that mwanafunzi ninaenda shuleni?
Ana.
Because you said ni is like is
You.
or something like that.
Okay. So, Majo, when you say mwanafunzi, you can not say mwanafunzi ninaenda shuleni. That is when you loosely translate that to English, it's like mwanafunzi, which is student. Okay, maybe the student, I am going to school. But you say mwanafunzi anaenda shuleni, which is the student is going to school. So class, one thing that I didn't mention is when you see now when you come when you come to the third, when you go to the second slide, when you go to the third one, anapika, he or she is cooking. So you can even say mwanafunzi anapika, the student is cooking. Marjorie, is that clear? Have you understood it?
Yes, teacher. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I've understood it, teacher. So when I'm using me, okay, for me it's like
you, I.
Okay, I've understood that. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, Tendo.
Teacher, I wanted to ask that all these words that you have given, like this, just the third slide.
Yeah. Okay. Tendo,
the one that has it is going.
Okay.
Teacher, can you?
Okay. Are you there?
The one that we are going. Yes, that one. Yes.
Okay. So what's your question?
Teacher, can you use all these unayenda? Can you use unayenda, inayenda in any way, like with the let's say I'm using the verb aka. Let me say I'm using gari. So I can use gari, anayenda, gari, kinayenda. There is no like. Yes.
Okay. So your question is whether you can use it. No, you see, Tendo, here we are looking at the ngelis. You cannot say gari unaenda. You look at the ngeli that gari falls under. Gari falls under ngeli ya li. Let me just minimize this. Minimize. Okay, thank you. So gari falls under ngeli ya liya. So when you're talking about gari, you say gari linaenda. Then if it is in plural, magari yanaenda. So it depends on what word you're using. You first make sure that you know the ngeli. I know when we finish all the ngelis, you'll see it's going to be very easy for you to tell this word belongs to this particular ngeli or noun class. So you will learn these things with time. Okay, it takes time to learn because remember I told you it's a new language. So when you're talking about gari, you cannot say gari kinaenda because gari does not fall under ngeli ya ki v. There are words that fall under ngeli ya ki v and there are words that fall under ngeli ya liya. So one thing is, you people have these things in your book. So I request you, it's even a request, that go back to your books and look at how ngeli ya awa works, how ngeli ya liya works, and then how ngeli ya ui works. Okay, let me have another hand. I can see Charity.
Yes, teacher. I'm asking that what ngeli is inayenda and yanayenda.
What ngeli is linaenda and yanaenda is ngeli ya liya. You can even see the way I actually organize this work is the way it shows how ngelis are in plural and in singular. And then unaenda and inaenda is ngeli ya ui. I hope, Charity, is that clear? Okay, Ineza.
Teacher, me, I want to ask, like if someone asks you, unataka chakula, meaning do you want food? Then I say sitake chakula, meaning I don't want food. Is that correct?
Yes, that is okay. Now, what you're using is when you go to the other slide, the u. But now for you, it's a question. What Ineza has just asked is when you say unapika, you see you're already having the you. You are cooking. So when you say unataka chakula, do you want food? But no, I have another slide that is also going to explain that, but it's good she has brought it up. So you can say unataka, unapika, are you cooking? Unapika, are you cooking? You just put a question mark to show that it's a question. Okay, Manange people. Let me have Pamela.
Teacher, for the third slide,
Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to know which ngeli does zinaenda go to, because the others I have understood, but zinaenda, which ngeli does it
Linaenda?
go under?
Which one?
Zinaenda, the last one.
Ngeli ya Z. There's a ngeli ya Z that we are going to look at.
Okay.
So for now, your major focus should be on the ones that we have done so that you understand them. So that by the time we reach ngeli ya Kivi, ngeli ya Z, you would have understood. It would be like a walkover. Let me say that. Because you already have some knowledge about them. Let me have Emily.
Teacher, so if someone asks you, like from the second slide, they ask you unapika, you reply by saying sipiki.
If you're cooking, Emily, if you're cooking, you say ninapika. Ama you can say ndio to say yes. But now if you're not cooking, you say sipiki. That is, I'm not cooking, or you can say la. So in Kiswahili, and no is la. And then ndio, as Crown told us last week, ndio is yes. Emily, is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Asante. And then let's have Crown. Crown.
Okay, teacher, in this second slide, in Kiswahili, I thought when you say I am, it's mimi, so you're supposed to say mimi ninapika instead of ninapika, because when you say ninapika, it is I'm cooking, not I am cooking.
Okay. So thank you, Crown. Asante. So Crown, one thing you should note is that when you say mimi ninapika, it's like more of you're repeating yourself because you have already mimi and then you have ninapika. To mean it's actually you. So it's you just say ninapika and that is already I am cooking. When you say mimi ninapika, it's more of repetition. You're repeating yourself because you're saying I am cooking, or me, I am cooking.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Somebody has asked me, how come all sentences in affirmative mean the same? No, why I chose this? They all mean the same about cooking. It's because I want you to understand. You can actually replace ninapika with ninasoma with any other verb. You can even say ninalala, which is I am sleeping. And then somebody has told me that she has not understood ngeli very well. Class ngeli is actually noun classes. Like in English, we have the noun classes, we have proper nouns, common nouns, we have I don't know whether we have demonstrative nouns, but we have so many types of nouns in English. It's the same thing in Kiswahili. We also have different types of nouns. You have possessive nouns, proper nouns, common nouns, abstract nouns, compound nouns. There are so many types of nouns. So it's the same thing when it comes to Kiswahili. We have different types of nouns. Let me have Chirabo, Eunice. Eunice?
Teacher, I had a question on the third slide. I'm still confused. What does the Z stand for? What does the Li, the first two letters, the Z, the Ya, what does it, what do they stand for? Like how in slide 2 where Anna stands for present, the Na stands for the present tense and the A stands for he or she. What does the V and the Z stand for?
Okay. So the Li, the Ya stand for the noun class. We should actually take note. They stand for the noun class. And then we have the na, vina, zina, it is, it is, it is, it is. So the na is standing for is. And then the first letters like the u, the e, the li, the ya, the ki, the v, the z stands for the noun class or ngeli.
No, teacher, first wait. So like in the previous slide, that's when we used to say, when we are saying Anna pika, which means he or she is cooking. The A stands for he or she. So here, what the Lina stands for it. The Li stands for it.
Yes, it's it.
Even the Z stands for it.
Yeah. So hope. When we are looking at the second slide, we were looking at how you can use na when it comes to a person or people.
Yes.
But here we are looking at how you can use na when it comes to things, other things like your hand, your cup, your TV, your book, your pen. How do we use how do we use the na? That is what we are looking at.
Okay. And another thing, how do they change from in affirmative to negative? Yes, how do they change? Do you just add H or yes?
Yes, others you had with, okay, depends. So there are some that you will add ha, hawendi, siendi, hamwendi, hampiki. So here you can, when you look at the third slide, we have the hawendi, hayendi, haliendi, yaliendi. So you change depending on what is in the affirmative side. Like now when you look at the first one, unaenda, you have hawendi. You get?
Yeah, but
so you
how
have
do they change to that way?
You just have to understand it's a language, and every language has its own rules. Just like in English, you'll change when you ask me that why is it that maybe a word like mangoes has the es at the end and not the s, yet maybe a word like books has an s at the end when it's in plural, and yet mangoes has the es. You see, it's a language, and every language has its own rules.
Yes. Teacher, one last question. In this tense, as the na tense, why is it that, because I kind of did this activity before. So like, how come that unaenda changes to unaendi, and yet when it is utaenda, it still says, it stays as enda.
Let me go to that. Okay, is that the second slide?
No, because I did another, okay, I used another tense like ta, because I did the work earlier. And then when you say unaenda in negative, it changes to
how.
Yes, how endi. And then when you use the ta tense, the future tense, utaenda changes to hatuta. Yes, hatuenda. That the a at the end of the ender doesn't change.
Okay, we are going to look at that when we reach the ta.
Oh, so the I changes.
So when you look at the ta is, you use the ta when you're referring to maybe the future. The ta is used when you're referring to the future. But now we are looking at how do we refer to things in the present tense.
Yes, teacher, I just needed some clarification. So in the na tense, the a on the verb changes to I. Is that replacing the na, or that's how it is in Kiswahili?
No, that is how it is in Kiswahili.
Okay.
But now, okay, like hope when we when we go to other words, when we go to the ta, you will see you will have maybe nitapika, I will cook na. You have sitapika. So it depends on what tense you're using, or what tense or what thing you want to refer to. So we are going to look at for today. We've looked at nyakati uliopo, and we are using the na. But maybe in our next lesson, we are going to look at how do we use star, how do we use me, how do we use li. So there are so many things, and we are going to see the difference within all the tenses. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Marjorie.
Teacher, I wanted to ask that, first of all, could you please repeat what no is in Kiswahili? I tried to take note, but every time I fail to get it.
No?
Yes, no. Like I'm
No
not
is
using
la. You can
La.
say la, la, or hapana.
Oh, okay. And then the other
And then
thing is
if you
that,
want to say yes, is ndio.
yeah, I got the yes part. Oh, and the other thing is that when you say, okay, say that you can't say mimi na, okay, mimi na, like it's a repetition, like I and then I. So do you say like mimi ayenda? Is it correct?
Okay,
Like,
okay, you come again.
like when you say mimi na ayenda, it's like a repetition, right? And
Yes.
then, okay, what if you can say that mi ayenda, like minai, okay, minai over
Minaenda.
like something like that. You don't say yeah.
No, when you want Marjorie, listen, when you want to refer to yourself, you say ninaenda.
Oh.
You say ninaenda. If you want to refer to another person, you say anaenda. He or she is going. If you're maybe if you're sure maybe about the person's name, maybe your sister is called Mary, you can say Mary anaenda. So that is she is going. Maybe your brother's name is John. You can say John anaenda maybe nyumbani. That is John is going home. So when you're referring to another person, you use ana.
Okay, thank you.
So let me first look at what is in the chat. I hope Nakato is still on. Nakato has said that on the third slide, why is it that from affirmative to negative, yanaenda changes to yalienda, and the rest change to negative with her. So Edith, it's because with yanaenda, you want to actually show the tense very well, because we have yanaenda, and then it is going. So the other side you say yaliendi. So it's for you to show that to show the noun class very well, show that the word you're talking about is andangelia liya. And then somebody said ingelia liya is the li singular and the ya plural. Yes, that is it. The li is singular and the ya is plural. And then teacher, on the negative side, this is Thelma. On the negative side, where there is yalienda, why can't you say hayalienda? No, you cannot say, that's ungrammatical. You just say yaliendi. The yaliendi, then D shows that it is negative. Let me see if I have more hands. Class, we are supposed to conclude. I'm only giving us 2 minutes. So if there's a question you want to ask, please be very fast. Yes, Louis?
Teacher, I was just wondering if you could post the recording on YouTube, because my network hasn't been the most stable.
Okay, yeah, the recording will be there.
Thank you.
But maybe, I don't know, not today. I'll talk to the ICT team and see when the recording can be put on YouTube. Yes, Hope?
Teacher, I'm still kind of confused. Like, okay, I've understood the unaenda, I've understood it very well. And I've also understood the inaenda. So now when we come to the ya, where does the li come from? Because in the affirmative form, it is yanaenda, and then in the negative form, it is yalienda. How does the li come? Where does it come from?
Under which one? Hali.
Yeah.
Oh, where does the li come from?
Yes, because how is it changing from ayana
I'm
to
winding
ayana?
up. Okay, it's because we have the where the li is coming from. When you look at the li is simply to show you that that particular word is adangelia liya. Haliendi, yaliendi. I hope that is clear. It's just to show you that it is adangelia liya. Let me have the last one, Charity. For those who still have questions, please, you can get in touch with me after the lesson.
Teacher, I want to ask
Charity?
that, can you say, Teacher, I want to ask that, can you say mimi napika to mean I am cooking?
You don't. Okay, I say that when you use mimi nina, you say mimi. When you want to say, we want you to say mimi. Mimi it simply means me. So when you say mimi nina pika, you're repeating yourself because you already have the nina to show that it is you. So you just say nina pika, which is I am
Teacher,
cooking.
I'm
You don't
saying
use the mimi. Yes.
Teacher, when you don't put the ni and you just say
Oh,
mimi
yeah,
napika.
yes, you can say that. Mimi
Is it
napika.
right
That
when
is
you don't put
okay.
the ni and you just say?
Yes, Charity, that is right.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. So class, otherwise, maybe we are going to continue from there after 2 weeks. So next week, the test is simply going to come from what we studied online. Please make sure you know tarehe, you know sa, you know hesabu, and then you know dira. I've set questions from all those places: dira, hesabu, tarehe, kusoma saa. I've set questions from nomino, from vitenzi, and so on. So make sure that you revise and read all that we've done in class. I'm not going to set anything that we didn't do online. Everything that I'm setting is will come from what we did online. So make sure that you read and understand. But the test is going to be very simple. So I expect all of you to get 100. So otherwise, have a blessed week. Not weekend, have a blessed week, and all the best in your other lessons.